when most people wake up in the morning, they're not thinking about their party and they're not thinking about the next election. They're thinking about their job and whether they make enough to support their family. They're thinking about the next doctor's appointment for themselves, their parents, or their kids. They're thinking about the roads and bridges they're going to drive that day. They're thinking about the public school they drop their kids off at, and they're thinking about whether they feel safe in their communities. These are the types of everyday issues that Americans are screaming that they need help on. Listen, I'll tell you, I think Donald Trump is our current president because he convinced that last group of undecided voters that he would focus more on helping people to pay bills at the end of the month and convince people, and I believe unrightfully, that the vice president was distracted by a lot of issues. But what has he done since he got elected? He is obsessed with culture war issues. He is willing to gamble away our economic gains on non-economic grounds. Look at what his tariffs are doing to Americans. They are raising the prices of everything, betraying that promise that he'd lower them. Look at what that big, ugly bill is going to do to states like yours and to mine. In Kentucky, this bill is going to kick over 200,000 people off their health care coverage. These are people we worked hard to get covered when we expanded Medicaid and we've gotten people healthier because of health care. Health care lifts people up and it's a basic human right. But look at what it's going to do to our economies. It's going to fire 20,000 Kentucky health care workers. They ain't getting a tax break because they're not going to have a job. It threatens to close 35 rural hospitals, and we all know that those are the second largest employers in most counties they're in behind the public school system. And what that's going to do to the economies of rural America is it's going to reverberate in the restaurant, in the coffee shop, and in the bank, because there are fewer people that will be employed that can make sure that those dollars go around and around and around. We are at a point right now where the road to re-earning the trust of the American people is right there for us. Here's what I think we've got to do. Number one, we got to focus and we got to be disciplined. 80% of our time, we got to be talking about that next job, that next doctor's appointment, the infrastructure that's so important to people, better educating our children and making sure every day we're doing something to where people feel safer. These are things, the great part about it is it doesn't just lift up Democrats, it helps everybody. And I think this country is screaming for less partisanship and more of moving forward together. The second thing we've got to do is get back to talking like real human beings.